Hey, Walter Sorrells back with another Knife Making Friday 5. Today, forging versus stock removal. So I'm going to kind of address this to you whether you're interested in maybe taking up the hobby of knife making and you're sort of curious as to whether you should go towards forging or stock removal, or maybe you're a collector, just a fan of knives, and you want to know a little bit more about kind of what the world of the guys who make knives is really all about. All right, so first definitions. What's forging versus what is stock removal? Forging's pretty obvious. You're taking one of these, you're heating up a piece of steel in there, and you're banging it into shape. Stock removal, on the other hand, means that you are using some kind of grinding apparatus to reduce a piece of stock, in other words, a bar of steel, to the shape of a knife. One of the most obvious sort of dividing lines between stock removal guys and smiths is that smiths almost always use some forms of carbon steel, whereas stock removal guys tend to use stainless steels. Now, the reason for that is that when you just take a piece of steel and heat it up in here, you can control your temperatures to a degree, but only to a degree. When you're heat treating stainless steel, the time that you have it at certain temperatures and the exact temperatures that you hold that steel at are very, very critical in the ultimate consistency and quality of the blade that you make. So typically bars of stainless steel are just ground to shape and then heat treated in specialized heat treating ovens or furnaces. Now smiths, on the other hand, can do their own heat treating because carbon steel tends to be a little bit more forgiving in terms of the heat treating processes. Now, to a layman, heat treating sounds kind of mysterious, and in reality, it is a very technical and complicated subject, and so it's hard to reduce it to real simple layman's terms. But basically what heat treating is just heating up and cooling a piece of steel in certain prescribed ways so as to create certain effects in the steel. So people tend to think, oh, steel is hard, and that's what's made it such a ubiquitous substance in modern society. But the reality is, what makes it so cool and so different from a lot of other materials is that you can cause a very wide variety of qualities in that steel. You can cause them to be harder, softer, more resilient, to bend easier or less easily, and a whole variety of other different things. And so smiths, because carbon steel is a little bit more forgiving in terms of the temperatures that you're using, they can do a lot of things in, just kind of in a shop with fairly limited equipment that folks who are using stainless steel can't do. On the other hand, of course, stainless steel has the quality of not rusting, and so that's a very valuable quality too. So there are pluses and minuses to both sides. And I definitely want to add a point. It might sound like I'm sort of denigrating the stock removal guys. Not true at all. You're optimizing for a different set of qualities when you're using stainless steel than you are for carbon steel. Typically, swords, things that are really intended to be very, very shock resistant, you're going to have better luck using carbon steel. So if you're somebody who's thinking about starting out, I always recommend that folks start with stock removal. The reason for this is that you can start with very, very simple tools, files, angle grinders, a fairly small, cheap belt grinder, whatever it might be, and then you can send off your knife to professional heat treaters to heat treat it and bring it to its optimal hardness. So that makes it kind of an easier starting place. In terms of whether you ultimately might want to go to forging or not, the main question is, what are your goals? If you're interested in, let's say, historical recreation, medieval swords and that sort of thing, probably ultimately going to want to get an anvil, get a forge, and go in that direction. If you're interested in particular historical or ethnic traditions, Japanese swords or Indonesian krises, or whatever it might be, again, you're probably going to go in the direction of forging. However, if you're more interested in making modern knives for normal day-to-day use, you might want to go more in the direction of stock removal. The cool thing is you don't have to make a decision right from the get-go if you're interested in this hobby. Start small, work your way forward, and ultimately you'll figure out which direction you want to go. So just to wrap up, these are two different mountains. There's no reason that you can't climb both. There's no reason that climbing one means that climbing the other's no good. They're just different mountains. If you want to get to the top of this one or you want to get to the top of that one, it's really a matter of your personal preference. Hey guys, if you found value in this video, I hope you'll consider partnering with the channel to help us bring more videos, better videos, more knives, more techniques, all that cool stuff. Click the link to Patreon to help this channel. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, bro, what are you waiting on? And check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, if you're into Japanese swords, check out my website, waltersorrellsblades.com, where you'll see more of my work and where you'll find videos about the making of Japanese swords, along with mounting, fittings, polishing, hamones, all kinds of good stuff. Now, more videos,